and I hope you'll join us. And today I'm very, very fortunate to have not one, but three wonderful guests. Phil Sciavoni heads up Progetto Veneto Wines. Welcome, Phil.
Oh, well, Nina, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And Alex Elman of Alex Elman Wines. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you for having me, Nina.
And thank you for making the trip. I really appreciate it. And Pablo Dessel, speaking of a trip, thank you. He is here from Argentina.
Thank you very much.
Well, so glad you're here. We really appreciate it. So, Progetto Veneto will be sponsoring Savoring Life. And again, I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity, actually, to be back on 1490 WGCH. So, Phil, thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and we're happy to be a sponsor of the show. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
We look forward to it.
And I know you're very busy, and thank you all for fitting this into your schedule. So, Phil, why don't we start by telling us a little bit about Progetto Veneto. You'll be on the show often, but I'd like to have our listeners know about Progetto Veneto and that you call Wines Italians Drink at Home.
Wines Italians Drink at Home, that's exactly right. Progetto Veneto, we focus on wines that are from the Veneto region of Italy, hence the name Progetto Veneto. And the Venice is the capital city of the Veneto region, and the Veneto is in the very northeast corner of Italy. And the idea behind Progetto Veneto is to identify wines that Italians drink at their home. So, for example, if you go to Italy and you stay with a family, you go to a restaurant in Italy in the Veneto region, and you drink the wines, these are the kinds of wines that you would find in Italy that Italians are drinking at home.
Great.
And they typically are made in a very traditional winemaking style of the Veneto. And virtually all of our wines are a singular grape or singular variety of grape, and not typically a blend of different kinds of wines.
Okay.
And, so many times we hear people say that they love the wines that they drank in Italy, but they can't find them here in the United States, or somehow the wines here are different. So what we're all about is bringing those wines directly here to consumers here in the Northeast.
Terrific. And can you talk to us a little bit about a price point about for your wines, what they generally range?
Oh, sure. Our wines have a range of prices, but most of them at the retail level are probably between about $15 to $18 a bottle.
Okay, great.
So they're right in that very good price point, which I think we can bring a lot of value to people.
Great. All right. Well, then people will be having Progetto Veneto wines on their dinner table.
Well, I hope so.
And when they have guests. Great. Okay. Terrific. And you also have a website, is that correct?
We do. The website is progettoveneto.com. And Progetto simply means project in Italian.
How do you spell Progetto Veneto?
Progetto is Progetto. And then it's Veneto, Veneto. Okay. And Veneto does not really mean Venice. Veneto is the name of the region, but we think of it as being Project Venice.
Right. Well, where you hang out a lot, and where I might have to be doing shows with telephone connections to you out over there in Italy, but we're going to do it. So, terrific. Well, thank you, and thank you for being a sponsor and for explaining Progetto Veneto. If you could, Phil, you just describe how you became, how you got together with Alex to now distribute the wines as of October 1st, right? Alex Elman Wines are available here in Connecticut through Progetto Veneto's distributorship and also online.
This is Carl White from Greenwich Library. Just in time for this year's World Series, sports writer Jack Kavanaugh will be at Greenwich Library on Monday, October 22nd to talk about the season of 42, baseball during the war years. The 1942 season was the last before many baseball stars joined the service. Kavanaugh talks about Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams, who had contract disputes. He also discusses how the war affected the public psyche and how baseball provided a welcome distraction. Jack grew up in Stamford. He majored in journalism at Syracuse and has written for Sports Illustrated, the New York Times, and the Sporting News. Jack has previously spoken at the library about his books Giants Among Men and Tunny. Copies of his book will be available for sale and signing. The program starts at 7 p.m. and admission is free. It's open to all ages. Hope to see you there. This is Carl White on 1490 WGCH.
1490 WGCH, and I'm here with Phil Sciavoni of Progetto Veneto Wines. Wines Italians Drink at Home, Alex Elman of Alex Elman Wines, and Pablo Dessel, our friend visiting us from Argentina. So welcome again.
Thank you very much.
And we're so glad to have you here. Alex, can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Pablo and how you got involved with the wines that they make?
So when I started this project, Alex Elman Wines Authenticated, I actually started this project with Pablo's wines in mind. The name, it's in Mendoza, Argentina, which is the wine-growing region of Argentina, and they are organic. They're easy to pair. They are literally shepherded from vine to bottle with no manipulation. And because they are organic, that means there's no man-made pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides used at all during the growing process, and it's all produced organically. The wines are all produced organically. So I really start wines in mind. And I went to visit Pablo in Mendoza, and that's when really our partnership began.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Binecol is a winery, family winery. We are Argentina. Mendoza is the most important wine region in Argentina, and we produce only certified organic wines. We started with the project in 1998, and our first harvest was in 2003. Because we have to clean the soil to obtain the certification. And we have in the vineyard 100 hectares, yes, only organic. And Mendoza has an excellent natural condition to produce organic wines because we have very low animal rate, very good to don't use any pesticide. Right. Any chemical product during the in the vineyard, and during the vinification process we use sulfite, but less amount than conventional wines, because for us the most important thing is the sanity of the grape. Yes,
okay.
For us, yes.
And on that topic, Alex, if you could talk a little bit. We were talking before about the white wines and how and about sulfites and how it relates to the organics and how.
So you know what they say, that a little information is a dangerous thing. Well, the little information that people actually have about sulfites is very dangerous, because the truth is that sulfites, they got a bad rap and a bad name. They are actually they are nature's preservative. So if someone eats an apple, if you eat vegetables, if you eat grapes, if you have an orange, all of those have sulfites in the skins.
Really?
Yes, they are naturally occurring in skins. So let's go back to wines. About 0.01% of the population has a true sulfite allergy. What people have a sensitivity to are the chemical added sulfites, and most importantly, the pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides that are used, chemical pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides that are used in conventional wines. When we say conventional wines, we mean wines that are not certified organic. So I'm going to give a couple numbers here. So in conventional wines, people can use up to 350 parts per million of added sulfites. In imported organic wines, because there's a difference with domestic wines. In imported organic wines, you're not allowed to use more than 100 parts per million of added sulfites for the reds and 120 parts per million of added sulfites for the whites. Now, why are there more added sulfites allowed for the whites? Because the sulfites are in the skins of the grape, and for red wine, the wine spends more time in contact with the grape skin than in white wines. So there's always going to be little more of an addition of added sulfites, preservatives, in white wines and in reds.
Pablo, you're shaking your head. You want to add something to that in regard to the white wine and the production of the white wine.
It is more difficult to produce white wines because
organically.
Organically, yes. I think that we are one of the few wineries in Argentina that are producing now organic white wines. Yes, as Alex explained, it is very difficult, but again, with the good sanity of the grape, we can obtain great wines, and we understand that the organic agriculture is the best way to obtain good wines, great wines. And it is very important that explain that this year we started with another certification that is a fair trade certification.
Mm-hmm. Fair trade?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Now in the next time, the Alex Elman Wines
will be fair trade certified.
Cool.
Yes,
That's
of
very
course.
cool. That's great.
I wanted just to go back to the organic process for one quick second about the sulfites. We wanted, wines are healthy for us. White wines as well as red wines, although red wines have more resveratrol, but that doesn't matter. And so why are we putting chemicals in our body when we can have organic wines? And a lot of...
they're not, it's rare to have an organic white wine. I mean, that's one of the reasons this is such a special story, because you're introducing, Phil, Alex, you, and Pablo, introducing Pablo's wines, organic whites, really, they're rare in the United States. Yes.
Yeah, and when they are cleaner tasting, etc. So, and wines have been made for 8,000 years, and before 75 years ago, everybody figured out a way to preserve their wines, but without chemicals.
Okay, so we don't need to do it, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Now, so you've talked a little bit about sulfites and the addition of the sulfites, and Pablo, just a little bit more, because it's such a romantic story to hear just a little bit more about the vineyard and your family business. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yes. To produce organic wine is a philosophy of our life. Yes. Because also in the organic vineyard we have more employees than in conventional vineyard. Yes.
So it's more labor intensive as well to produce organic wines.
Yes.
And they're doing all the picking of not only of the grapes, but they're also picking the weeds, right? Manual harvest.
Yeah, manual harvest.
Isn't it also true that it's a bit more expensive to produce organic wines?
Well, certainly if you
in
have more
certain
workers,
circumstances.
Should be more expensive. Yes. I think that there are a lot of organic wines in the market, but not certified. Yes, so it is very important to show to the consumer the certification in the bottle. Yes, because the organic the organic wine, we have a traceability in all the process, and it is very important to show to the consumer how we produce, how we produce the wine, how is our harvest, and I think that the organic wine is should be a high quality wine.
Absolutely. And what kind of price points are we talking for these wines here in the States?
Anywhere from $12.99 to $15.99, basically, depending on the state and the markup of the store.
Okay.
We can suggest the retail price.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk about Pablo's Vineyard because it's a really cool.
Well, before you go, I just wanted to add that people can, for them to figure out whether the wine they're drinking actually is organic. I mean, it's important to look at the back label.
Yeah.
And of course, on all Pablo's wines and your wines, Alex, right on the back label, it actually says, you can read it there, certified organic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that really is something, many people don't take the time to look at the back label of the wine bottle.
We believe if it's on the organic shelf that it's organic.
Right. I mean, and that's actually the more important label to look at. It really tells you a lot. It tells the consumer a considerable amount about the wine and where it's
and
from.
We can't
and you can
say
look
that.
for it. It's right there.
We can't say that on the label because it's regulated by the government unless the certifications are there to back it up.
Okay.
So we have to give that to the federal government of the United States.
And it's right here, certified organic. I can read it.
And one thing that we have not, I don't believe we've mentioned, is actually which wines. You have 6 wines. Alex or Pablo, whoever, to talk about the varieties of wines that are available from Pablo.
From Argentina, here with the Alex Elman Wines, we are producing the Malbec. That the Malbec is the emblematic red wine from Mendoza, from Argentina.
I hear it's quite good.
Yes.
And
taste some of
we
that.
actually have a bottle right here.
Okay. Cabernet Sauvignon. And we have 2 white wines. One of them is Torrontés. that also is the emblematic
which I
wine
love,
from
and it
yes.
stands up well to spicy foods. It's a tremendous
Everything.
wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the most versatile wine
Yes.
in the market
Yeah.
today.
And for
Toronto.
those of us Fairfield County women who like white wines, this is a brand new alternative,
Yeah.
I believe. And
And there's a Chardonnay
And
as well.
Chardonnay, yes.
And the thing about these wines, about Pablo's wines, is that they are all stainless steel fermented, which means that they have no oak aging, flavoring, anything. So you really get to taste the flavor of the grape from the Mendoza terroir. So it's a very clean, easy drinking wine, easy pairing wine. And Pablo's winery, Vinicole. One quick second. Yeah, Vinicole is a winery that has a very small carbon footprint because not only is it organic, it's surrounded by a huge nature preserve, so there's no chemical runoff from anybody else, and they use melt off from the Andes Mountains for the water. They actually have a garden for the workers to pick their food and salads, etc. And a lot of the people ride their bicycle to the vineyard.
so when are we all flying down? That sounds like. But speaking of enjoying life and savoring life, Phil is going to open a bottle of the
We'll see if
Malbec
we
right
can-
now.
we can get the Malbec open here.
Thank you.
And celebrate
Well, that
the
sounds
first
good.
show of Savoring Life with our great friends Alex Elman and Pablo Dessel from Argentina, our sponsor,
Can you hear me
Progetto
pouring it?
Veneto.
Is
I
that
can,
good?
if I stop talking, I bet you can.
Thank
yes.
Okay. Thank
so,
you.
okay. Well,
Nina?
okay. Bob, our engineer, you'll get some in a few minutes, okay? All right.
And Pablo.
Pablo?
Thank you, Phil.
So, yes.
Thank you.
Well, Phil,
Yes,
I think
yes.
I think you
Yes.
should.
Yes.
Cheers! Cheers to
Cheers.
all! Cheers to savoring life!
Thank you.
And thank you for being on the show. Now, if you could just, Phil, if you could just tell us a little bit about how our listeners can learn a little bit more or a lot
Well,
more
I mean,
about Progetto Veneto wines.
To learn more about Progetto Veneto, I mean, the easiest thing is to go to progettoveneto.com, and as we tried to spell it before, Progetto, and
Okay.
then Veneto, Veneto.
Okay,
Or
great.
to learn more about Alex's wines, go to aewines.com. And you can read the entire story about the vineyards and the wines and the history and the culture and the families and so on.
Great, and it's such a romantic story, and also again about Pablo and the vineyard in Argentina. Just a tremendous story, and all about what we hope to build this show around, about savoring life, about really living life to the fullest, as well as from real and getting people back to enjoying real food and community, enjoying wine and food together. Alex, you are a big believer in that, about the wines being bringing people together as we do as well. So I'm going to say thank you to all of you for listening. Thank you to my wonderful guests, Pablo Dessel, Alex Elman, Phil Sciavoni. This is Nina Sutton. Join me each week here on 1490 WGCH for Savoring Life, stories of people and companies helping people live life to the fullest. Sponsored by Progetto Veneto Wines. Hope to see you and hear you next week.